Hi, my name is Justin Committee, and I have chosen to do the Google Maps Directions API. Now, by using an HTTP request, the API allows you to search for directions for different types of transportations, such as transit, like buses and trains. I myself live in Atlanta, so by using this API, I'm able to become familiar with the times the MARTA train comes and departs, and the frequency that this train comes and departs. It also includes directions and length of the trip for cycling and walking and driving, so it kind of gives you a nice guide for any kind of activity that you might be doing. The service is not meant to be used as a real-time indicator, meaning that you should use it for planning ahead, not for like on the go, like Google Maps you'd use on your phone. That's for on the go. This is for like directions that we used to get from Google Maps and print them out on our computers before we had these phones. Google calls it static, which means known in advance. So if you're planning a trip sometime in the future, it is very useful. My favorite part about it is your ability to use waypoints in your trips, like detours, like I'm going to stop here and I'm going to stop there, and it recalculates the distance and the directions for you. I haven't really found a way to do that on Google Maps on my phone, which now that I have researched this, I kind of miss. The Directions API specifies origins, destinations, and waypoints as a text string, such as Atlanta, GA, or as latitude and longitude. There is an alternative option which allows other routes as options. It gives you other options for directions and the distance and time it will take to use those options, such as different choices. There's also an option to avoid things like tolls or highways or ferries. There's a language option which outputs information in a different language. There's a units option which you can change as like miles or kilometers or whichever ones you would like. Instead of a key that you usually get with APIs, you need to the Google Maps for work customers need a client and signature parameters instead of a key with the request. To use the API, you would need to sign into your Google account, select a provider, and select a project. In the Google Developers Console, and enable the API. And you have two options: to do it for free or to do the work one. The free one gives you 2,500 direction requests per 24-hour period, up to 8 waypoints allowed in each request, but waypoints are not available with the transit request. You get 2 requests per second. The API for work customers allows 100,000 directions requests per day, 23 waypoints in each request, and 10 requests per second. You can only use this API alongside of Google Maps. You got to have the map and the directions. The results will also need copyright and warnings, which must be displayed in some fashion on the application. The output comes in the form of JSON or XML. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation and is easy to use and access. Reading JSON is quite simple. It is similar to XML, but involves much less code, which in turn gives you a smaller file. JSON involves keys and values. 4 in loops are used to parse the data. There's even a JSON.parse function that simplifies the process. AJAX is becoming more and more popular. It increases the speed and is able to update data asynchronously. AJAX stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Wikipedia says AJAX is a group of interrelated web development techniques used on the client side to create asynchronous web applications. There is no need to refresh the page to update the data, which adds a sort of wow factor, if you will. JSON-P overcomes cross-domain issues by using a callback function to send JSON back to our domain. The easiest way to load the JSON data is to use the .ajax method, which is available in the jQuery library. So you have all that there, and it's going to be really fast, update asynchronously. It's very exciting. Thank you. My name is Justin Committee. That was my post. Bye.